Hello, everyone. This is week number 33 of my 52-week challenge to do a live stream every single week on LinkedIn. I'm here with a really good friend, Dimitry Ortiz. He joined me on one of my live streams last year when I started doing this live stream thing. And I'm just really glad to have Dimitry back today. How are you doing today, Dimitry?
I'm wonderful, man. It's a Sunday morning. I appreciate you rescheduling, and yeah, man, it's the weekend, baby. Gotta love it.
Yeah, love the positivity there. Yeah, we're supposed to have this Friday evening, but we had some connectivity issues. So first time doing this on a Sunday. So we'll see how this goes. Dimitri, you want to introduce yourself and share what you do?
Sure. My name is Dimitry Ortiz. I am streaming from live from Guatemala City, Guatemala, Central America. That's where I was. That's where I was originally born, but I grew up in the U.S. Where I actually became an IT professional. I'm a computer scientist, and have been in the field for over 2 decades. And now I currently work for a technology consulting firm working with robotic process automation, helping businesses with their business process automations.
Very cool, and that's what we're gonna mainly talk about today about business process automation. As we go into an even more digital world, there's a need for more automation, right, to make things more efficient, make things faster. And other than that, Dimitri, do you want to share a little bit about why is business automation important, and why are some people, I don't want to say against it, but just are they just find it challenging to implement?
Yes, that's a great question, Stephen. And thank you for asking. I think that is very important for us to cover this subject because many people are not talking about it. And if they are, many people are not in the field, and many people are talking about how they feel about it as opposed to what it's actually doing. I think the narrative is been very pessimistic. You would say. I don't know if it's I don't know if I rewarded the cost to Hollywood with all their movies about robots coming back, Terminators coming back, and getting even because we treated their younger brothers robots bad, or if we're gonna seriously just become our destinies to become a big battery for a bigger cognitive entity. So as you can see, those are the things that many people struggle with, and the first thing that we need to understand is that people fear what they don't understand. So that's the first thing we need to address. So the first thing that we need to address is the narrative. Okay, first, many people are talking about how robotics and automation are going to take people's jobs, and I'm here to tell you, yes, they are. But let me explain. See, the narrative is very negative, but what I want to explain to everyone here, being a computer scientist and being exposed to all these technology for all these years, I can tell you, Stephen, that this technology is actually here to free us. Because we have been, if you think about it, automation has been around over 100 years. We can take it back to the times of Henry Ford when he had the massive, mass producing plants where humans were actually taking the role of a robot. Eventually, as you can see, it's taking years and years and years for us to finally liberate the human and put a robot to do robotic jobs. So that's the narrative right here, Stephen. That's what I want people to understand. Do you think that over 74 or even sometimes even higher percentages of people are not happy with their jobs? Many of that I would have to say that the root cause of this is the fact that you have professionals that go to university, get a degree, get a knowledge in their special niche, and then they go and spend 15 to 20 hours minimum of repetitive, mundane, boring jobs. And if you think about it, Stephen, our brain was not created to do repetitive, mundane, boring jobs. That just kills the nature of our capacity, of the reason why how we were created. If you think about it, most of the things that we should be focusing on right now is innovation, creativity, and empathy, which are things that only humans can provide. We're giving way too much credit to AI. That's another thing that we need to understand. AI has been here since 1956, which means that slowly but surely has been maturing. Now, since 2012 is kind of where it got its popularity. But if you think about it, even AI right now, it's still very mature. It requires in order for AI to be productive and to be efficient, it requires a lot of experience, which it doesn't have any right now. Plus, we have a lot of data that is unstructured. So in other words, we need to clean up a lot of data. We need to structure a lot of the data we have in order to manipulate it a lot easier. Some AI products or tools out there are kind of getting there, but we're still very at the nation stage. So the reason why this is so important, Stephen, for people to understand is that in order for our businesses to compete with the other businesses that have introduced this new technology, you have to understand it. And see, one of the things is that I don't know how many people out there are going to go against me by saying, hey, I want to protect my boring, monotonous, boring jobs, data entry, and I want to do that for the rest of my life. I mean, I want seriously someone with the seriousness to tell me that they want to protect horrible, monotonous, boring jobs that are very repetitive and not in our nature. So those are the things that I think people need to understand. We need to change that narrative. We need to look at what technology has really done for us. In aspects of, for example, communication. It has allowed us to communicate in without any geographical limitation. I mean, this is just wonderful, everything that we're seeing right now in technology in general, Stephen.
Yeah, you made some excellent points. And the last thing you said about technology allows us to communicate. You're in Guatemala. I'm here in California, and we're able to do a live stream here. And I just want to emphasize the point you made about robotics and automation replacing jobs. Yes, like you said, it is replacing a job, but you're just not gonna lay off all your assembly workers or manufacturing workers. They're going to find other things to do. They have other skills that they can use. And you're right, like, who will want to say, hey, I want to do the same boring job for the next 30 years? It's just, it doesn't make sense. And I want to share a personal example. When I was working in my satellite role, and we're collecting telemetry data, and I wrote a script. I wrote some automation script to collect a bunch of data, and it just makes my job a lot easier because we look at all the data, we can look at trends, we can make decisions on that. And I had a coworker, he's really, really proficient in Python, and he wrote scripts to do a bunch of analysis, bunch of work. And I jokingly told him that, hey, you're coding yourself out of a job, but instead it makes him more valuable because now there's other programs who hear about all the automation tools that he created, and they want to take him. They want to take him to work on this other program, to work somewhere else. And what he did, and my script as well, it just made everyone's jobs a lot easier. Instead of manually doing everything and looking at data, trying to get look at data for 24 hours just to get one little thing, we get it in 15 minutes, and that frees up my time and other people's time to do other things that we want.
Most definitely. You mentioned something that I wanted to cover as well. Many people are talking about the replacement, but nobody's talking about the fact that for every one job that is replaced by automation or robotics, 2.6 are going to be created. You got to remember that it's still humans behind these robots, or it's still humans behind this software. We are the ones that are creating it. And to be honest with you, RPA, I just want to talk about robotic process automation, which doesn't have to do with physical robots. This is more like a digital software that creates digital bots that actually mimic what people do. So we want to give humans more value than just data entry. There is no way that I can tell you that a human can feel valuable just from looking at a paper and crunching in numbers or crunching in words that can be easily done with automation. So what people also need to know that many people don't talk about is the fact that 85% of the future jobs have not been created. So with this shift that everybody's talking about, that we are, we are scared of adaptation. We're scared of change. We like our comfort. But the problem that with comfort is the enemy of progress. So in order for us to progress, it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be different, it's going to be a shift, it's going to be a change. So what all this is going to require is people simply retraining, understanding the systems, and understanding that IT is no longer for technology is no longer for the IT department. Technology is for everyone, and everyone is being affected by technology. So at this point, we should recognize that our relationship with technology should be the most important one right now. That we should understand that also. I think it's very important to acknowledge, Stephen, that we want to be more effective. We want to be more accurate. we have way more data now than we used to before. I mean, before we used to have numbers, we used to have first name, last name. I mean, very, very little information about people. Now we have so much information. If you think about it, over 84% of the internet traffic is video, which means that we are communicating with video. People are creating video just like what we're doing right now. And so there's massive data that is coming into the data warehouses right now. So in order for us to maintain this data, we require smart systems. And as humans, we were not meant to do this because we are error prone. And let me tell you something right now, so that people can understand kind of how this has happened. It already happened back in 1970. If you think about it, Stephen, back in 1970, the digital calculator came about. And if you remember, the digital calculator could calculate mathematical equations way better and more efficient than we could. So I don't remember the calculators growing little arms and little legs and replacing the accountants. I don't remember that happening. This is back in the 70s. So I don't understand, why do we have a problem with systems being more accurate and better than we are? I mean, if we can regulate something smarter than we are, then that's great, because we cannot expect to get better with something that's less smart than we are. And if you remember correctly, Stephen, all the accountants that got a calculator in their hand, you can say machine and human, when they came together, accountants were able to do massive calculations, massive. And then the spreadsheet, let me not even talk about it. The spreadsheet came around, and the first serious and most relevant automation that came about was the macro. So that's exactly what we're doing right now. If you remember the spreadsheet and you understand the macros, that's literally what we're doing with robotic process automation. What we're doing is we're automating things that simply we don't need to go step by step. We can just automate it and focus on more problem solving, innovation, creating better structure. Because I can guarantee you, this is what's interesting, Stephen. Every time I go to a company and help them with their business processes, first I recognize that many of them don't even understand their processes. They don't even understand their workflows. So when we come in, we even challenge them. Hey, do you understand what you're doing here? And many of them have not even thought about it, because they never had been challenged before or even addressed on how they do their workflows and their logic. So now what we do is we challenge it and we try to make it better. And we obviously automate anything and everything that can be automated and allow humans to do more valuable work. And so that we can focus more on humans as opposed to numbers or data.
Yeah, no, excellent point. And I mean, I just want to re-echo the point you brought up earlier. People are scared of things they don't understand, right? So you said, Hollywood making all those robot movies and things taking over, but you just created a simple example. Calculator. We can't survive. Like today, we can't survive without calculators, and it just makes our lives a lot easier. Before we get on to the next topic, just want to give Andrew a shout out here. He's been supporting my content. He's actually local to me here as well, Dimitry. And I appreciate the support, Andrew. And 33 weeks. It's flown by so far. And before I know it, I'll be done with the year. So you touched about it a little bit, Dimitry. Yep, 33. So you said businesses don't understand their own processes. What are some other challenges that your company that you support and you create all these automation process or automate all these processes for other companies? What are some other challenges that you see other businesses face, and that sort of I guess hinders their progress towards automation?
For example, one of the things that businesses have not understood is that this is great news, Stephen, because we are actually one of the first companies that are bringing this technology to the small and medium-sized businesses. And that's very important to understand, because before, only the Amazons, only the big enterprises, only the big companies could afford this kind of technology. So it's exciting to understand that now we have been able to partnership with companies in Europe that develop this software similar to the ones that UiPath, Automation Anywhere, and Blue Prism, which are the big cats. But they have many, like their licensing and subscription models and everything. It's like it has a lot of hidden costs, and so many people have not even been able to afford it. So that's the first challenge they've never been able. They never even looked into it. It's incredible because let me tell you the title. Robotic Process Automation is the fastest growing technology in the software industry. Now think about that title. I mean, software is eating up the world, And when we are the most relevant software out there because it's the most relevant to businesses, and yet businesses don't know about it, that's the biggest challenge. Them not even knowing that this technology is available. And when I see my clients look at what we can do for them, and they start looking at the automation and how fast and efficiency it can be, that's one of the best. That's one of the best feelings I could ever have, because I see that at first they were scared, they were skeptical, they weren't too trustworthy, and once they see it in action, it's amazing. So that's the first thing that people that clients have, is not understanding the power of this technology. And another is the fact that again, it's being offered finally to the small, medium-sized businesses, and those are one of the we're pretty much bringing the competitive edge to the small guys. And what it is and what it does for you, one of the biggest things that you can do as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, or small and medium-sized business owner, is that fact that right now, especially after 2020, we were able to see that an average of 6 years was accelerated when it comes to this technology. So now you get people because people can't keep up with technology. That's one of the biggest challenges I see. And right now it's very relevant for them to understand it, because once they see that they don't need to hire so many people to do the same work, this is going to allow them to scale and invest it in other areas to grow businesses. And what is that going to do for everybody, Stephen? You got to understand that this is going to create competition. This is going to create competitions for those big monopolies that we don't want, big tech and everything. That's the worst thing people may have different ideas and opinions about this, but I think the monopoly and big tech cannot be good for the economic and social aspect of things.
Yeah, like you said, it allows all these smaller, medium-sized companies to start competing, because automation and investing in something that they're not familiar with, that's they're working with a limited amount of revenue and budget, and like you said, your company, I'll give you the chance to share a little bit more, but your company allows them to do automation much more cheaper, and it gives them a price point that they can afford. And like you said, it allows them to scale, allows them to focus on other things, to invest in other things within the company to allow them to grow. What's the name of the company that you work for? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. I work for a company named Simply Automate Incorporated. So simplyautomateinc.com.
All right, let me put that on the banner here. Simply
automateinc.com.
Is that it?
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like I said earlier, with a small business owner, it's your margins are very, very small, right? And how do you compete with the big dogs? So definitely go to the website down there. Dimitri's just been sharing a lot of benefits of automation and how simple it is. It's it's in the title right here. How simple it is. There's nothing to be scared of here. Anything else you want to add about business automation before we go to our next topic?
Yeah, so I just want to end this segment of the automation. It's just that I hope that everybody looks into automation with an open mind, understanding the benefits that it's going to create for your business, and to understand that your competition already is using automation. So if you put humans in automation, you know that there's not going to be competition when it comes to efficiency and speed and cost. So I just want to encourage businesses to look into the technologies that are out there that are available, because if we don't leverage technology right now, we just simply won't compete. And as you know, that's what businesses are. It's all about competition. It's all about providing the best value and best service.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend, and he said his company, it's so old school. They don't have a shared cloud, nothing cloud related, no shared drive. They just email files back and forth. They use paper to track things, and I think it's just what they're used to, right? And then how do you compete, right? You're wasting a lot of time going back and forth, no collaboration, and that takes up the time of your employees. So if you can find ways to automate things, to make things a lot easier for everyone, it gives them more time. It gives your employees more time to work on things that are more important, and not the repetitive, mundane tasks as well. Let's transition to our next topic here about cybersecurity. Dimitry, you're very passionate about just technology in general. Just want to get your thoughts about the importance of cybersecurity and how that really impacts even the small, medium sized companies.
Well, good topic to cover. Stephen, for example, I'm a computer scientist with an emphasis in computer security systems. In other words, cybersecurity, not just cybersecurity, because cybersecurity is once you're in the cloud, but the security in general for systems like, for example, networks and cloud computing and stuff that people are putting all their systems in. So what we need to understand about cybersecurity is that right now is the biggest threat. I mean, I don't think that there's anything out there that is more that has become more of a threat to businesses in general. And even if you think about it, it can even be as dangerous to even economies, countries, and in governments. It doesn't matter right now. If you think about it, the breaching that has been going on and the cyber attacks they're becoming very sophisticated, and that's something that people need to understand. The first thing that should be implemented into a company is the proactive, preventive methodology, because many times it seems like we wait for things to happen in order for us to react. And if businesses don't take on the attitude of preventive as opposed to reactive, then they're going to be paying the biggest price. And right now, as you can see, I wish governments could even understand this, because as you notice, governments are still investing a lot of money into military. The question is, what are you going to do when they hack your system, just like they did recently, with the oil and systems like meat factories and stuff? Are you going to throw soldiers at it? Are you going to throw missiles at an invisible enemy? I'm putting it in perspective so that people can understand. What are you going to do? Throw missiles at it? Throw F-16s? Machine guns, 9mm and GIs. What are you going to do? I mean, how are you going to be protecting your people when all you do is invest in military? Now, if we need to understand that this is not just for businesses. This is for general safety in general. It covers everybody's necessities. And so what's happening right now, Stephen, is that many people took their home to remote operations, just like myself. And so if you think about it, that created the biggest vulnerability, because before all your work was inside the enterprise, whether it was on-premise or cloud, it was all in one system. But now we're taking our work to home. And many people, I mean, if it was difficult to keep people, protecting themselves and being careful at work, imagine now at home. At home, people are more relaxed. And so that's exactly what's happening right now. People are getting relaxed at home, thinking that it's okay. Nobody wanted to attack them at home when they were just browsing the internet, doing nothing that was relative to work. But now everybody, all the cyber attackers have understood that the vulnerability is also found at home. So those are the first things that I need to address. We need to understand that even though we're working at home, it should be as important to secure our machines, secure our VPNs and virtual private networks that we need to set up so that everything, that all our connections are going to be protected. That's the first thing we need to understand. We're not talking about corporations anymore. We're talking about homework, working from home. So those are the things that we need to start looking, because phishing is one of the biggest problems right now, Stephen, which is pretty much engineered through means of emails. Okay, for example, the CEO of our company just recently got sent to his bank an email from his email account with a DocuSign asking for $20,000 to his bank account, and it looked completely legitimate. So those are the scary things right now, because they have incredible, sophisticated software that they're working with, and unfortunately, even automation that they're starting to use, that we need to seriously protect our businesses. We need to protect our homes, because there's so many ransom, there's so many Trojan horses, viruses that not only affect our systems, in other words, our computers and our servers, but now it actually it steals everything that's most valuable, which is data. And if you think about it, Stephen, people need to understand data is more valuable than oil now. Mm-hmm. Data is the most valuable resource that we have when it comes to most majority of everything. Businesses don't even worry about their money; they worry about their data being secure. So we should be the same. We should take on the same responsibility as at home and in every interaction that we have with the internet.
Yeah, the data is what makes your company competitive, right? You have all this information, that's part of your IP as well. And you're talking about these different cyber threats. I mean, it could literally just be someone in a room somewhere, and you have no idea where they are. They're able to hide their IP, hide their location, and like, where are you going to go, right? And are you going to invest that many resources for one single person who may be, just a single, I don't know what the right word is, but just a single person, right? Just not backed by government, just someone just, just want to create havoc and mess around. And yeah, I agree with you. Working from home, it's like you say, oh, I'm at home. It's no one's going to attack me at home, right? But you never know. It's just something as simple as someone breaking the house and stealing your work laptop, right? And that's just not even that's stuff you can physically see. But there's all these other threats that you can't see. That's there's phishing attempts, like you said, and yeah, it's like it's getting very, very sophisticated. So just be careful with your personal data. Don't share it with someone over the phone. Be careful when you post things online. Just there's so much information out there that people can just aggregate it all together and just know everything about you.
Yes, most definitely. So again, it's a preventive attitude. You got to remember that if you don't trust the site, if you don't know who's sending you email, you have to be very, very selective and discriminate anything that you don't trust, because that's the problem. And even places like, as I mentioned, phishing has been so sophisticated that they're using even names of websites, names of specific things that we can recognize and familiar to us. So we have to be very, very careful in everything that we handle, and make sure that we don't just click around, happy-go-lucky, because there's a lot of little bombs that have been placed, for us to fall into. So we have to be careful with the websites we visit. We have to be careful with the emails we open, the people we trust with our personal personal data, and even websites. I mean, it's sad to say, but even, places like Facebook and LinkedIn, even those websites have been hacked and taken. They don't necessarily broadcast this news, but yes, they have been hacked with many accounts and many personal information, and so we need to be careful because they use that information against you later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then last thing I want to add is, if something is too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Just don't fall into a trap. Don't say, oh, you got some free money or whatever. No, it's not even just like that simple. It's like, it's not, I grew up with the internet, right? So I've noticed all the pop-ups and things like that. But it's so sophisticated right now. You got someone calling you on the phone. Like we get a bunch of robocalls now. It's here, at least where I am. It's really annoying. But they talk about, like, there's a package for you. There's a car warranty extensions, things like that. It's just, you just got to be really, really careful right there. And if you get that gut feeling something doesn't feel right, it's definitely a threat, right? So you better ignore it and just don't carry through with it. So yeah, Dimitry, I just want to say thank you so much for your time here. First time doing a Sunday live stream. Just want to put your LinkedIn profile here. Make sure you connect with Dimitry, and just want to give you the last couple minutes here for you to make a plug. Maybe you can share a little bit more about the services you provide and how you can help others.
Nice. So yes, I'd like to thank you, Stephen, for the time provided this Sunday morning to talk about these important issues. I really would like to challenge everyone, especially if you're a small, medium-sized businesses, to look us up. If not just us, look our RPA in general. Make sure that you understand that there are new technologies out there that many businesses can leverage, and understand that that automation is not our enemy. Automation is here to help us, to make us more productive, to help us scale our businesses, and to make our life simpler. I don't think we want to complicate life, especially when we know how to make it simple. And so that way we can work on the things that we need to focus on and the things that make us more humans. So I would just like to thank everybody for their time, and appreciate Stephen for the time provided. And I hope that everybody has a safe browsing and safe work at home.
Yeah, thank you so much. And again, this is the company that Dimitry works for, that they help automate processes for small and medium-sized businesses to allow you to be more competitive and to allow you to scale. So again, every conversation with you, Dimitry, has been, I've learned a lot through all of our different conversations here. And again, don't be scared about what's out there with technology, with automation, with robotics, with AI. Learn to understand it, and once you understand it, you'll understand the benefits of it and how it can help you. So don't be scared of things that are unknown. Try to learn about them, and I'll definitely help you out more in the future. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching, And enjoy the rest of your weekend here. And thank you again, Dimitry, for joining me here and sharing a lot of knowledge about the latest technology trends out there.
I appreciate you, Stephen. Thank you, everyone.
All right, have a good one.